Hi, welcome to Critter Fiction. Real quick, you are totally welcome to listen in on this video, but the intended audience is actually me. It's my future self. This video is basically meant to be a big-ass list of reasons for why I'm making this channel, because there is definitely going to be one day down the line when I am depressed and anxious, and I'm like, what is the point in making this? I should just abandon the whole project. This is stupid. And on that day, it is my job to come back and watch this, and to remind myself that, okay, yeah, I've got good reasons for doing this and I should keep going. That said, I did make the video public, so if you want to eavesdrop on me talking to my future self, you are absolutely welcome to do that. This is also kind of my foot in the door video, both for the Critter Fiction channel and for the concept of making YouTube videos at all. I have wanted to make videos since I was very young, but I've always been super intimidated by the seeming complexity of it. It seems very difficult and it seems vulnerable as hell. I am putting myself out there, subjecting myself to the judgment of the internet, and that has terrified me. So I am making this video like the lowest possible stakes first project out there. The only goal is for me to finish the video and upload it. If I do that, it's a success, and anything else just does not matter. This video is not a channel intro. That is still coming, but it is going to be a giant list of my reasons for making the channel. So I think a bit of explanation is probably in order. This channel is all about critter fiction. Here we're going to talk about stories across this genre. You might also know it as animal fantasy. I just happen to not like that term because it kind of restricts things. Animal fantasy very much sounds like a kid thing, and in fact, most critter fiction that I know of gets lumped into juvenile fiction. And that's so narrow because A, they don't have to be animals. They could be microorganisms or aliens or robots or something, as long as they're just interacting with their natural environment. And it also doesn't have to be fantasy. We think of it as fantasy because sometimes there are actual magical, fantastical elements to it. But the only other justifying thing is that it's animals talking and who are thinking more intelligently than they tend to in the real world. And you know what? There is something a little bit magical about that. But you could also take it as like a sci-fi premise, or just what if animals happened to be able to think a little bit more complexly. If you just take that as a premise and take out the magic, then this doesn't have to be fantasy at all. So critter fiction is what I am calling this genre. For examples, you got Foxcraft, Wings of Fire, anything by Aaron Hunter, that's critter fiction. So I'll be talking about those books and whatever else I'm consuming in the genre for the rest of the year and possibly beyond. Sometime I'll get into my own stories, but that is for another day. Housekeeping's done, let's get to the meat of the video. So why am I making this channel? Why am I making critter fiction? Well, I've come up with a whole list of reasons. I think 14 of them. So let's just get into it. Sorry, this is going to be a bit of a long one. First reason is easily the most delusional and the biggest and kind of shiniest. I want to define a genre and put it on the map. So this is definitely the most ambitious goal of the channel and the least likely to be met. Absolutely understand that, but it is kind of the reason that I went with this channel in the first place. It was the motivating factor that got me to make it when I've had all of these other ideas that didn't really pan out. All of my favorite books turn out to have like a whole bunch of tropes in common, right? You've got animals interacting with their natural environment. We've got a very limited scope. They tend to live in groups, and things that they do heavily affect those groups, but not so much the greater world itself. And they're just creatures living outside. They're not weighed down by agriculture and the concept of inside and money and all of these things that humans have. And so it feels very much different and raw and kind of just like getting back to your roots. There is something about that genre that makes it separate from anything that human stories tell. And for that reason, I think that it should be considered its own genre, not just a subset of fantasy. Especially because a lot of these have really adult themes and death tolls that fucking rival Game of Thrones. I mean, the books are a lot shorter, but page per page, I'm pretty sure the death toll in a lot of these cases is straight up the same as Game of Thrones. So I want to fix this perception of animal fantasy, of critter fiction just being a part of children's fantasy. And this is the way that I'm going to try and do that. Hopefully one day, whether by this channel or just people generally realizing it the same way that they did for the sci-fi and fantasy genres, hopefully one day critter fiction will be seen as a more legitimate genre and we will get a lot more stories for all ages. So that's like the big reason for this channel, but I'm not actually expecting to accomplish anything near that. Honestly, I'd be lucky if I got like 100 subscribers total through the whole history of the channel. So yeah, not actually a goal. Really, I'm just doing this for myself. So with the big one out of the way, here are the things that I personally stand to gain from critter fiction. 2, to record what I read and to express enthusiasm for the stories I love. I want to have fun with this channel, first and foremost. I thought for a long time about the kind of value that I wanted to bring with this channel. And you know what? There's a lot of great analysis things out there. Thematic, funny, philosophical, awesome channels, especially with what I'm calling Warrior Tube. But what I've noticed is that we don't really have just like a enthusiast. You know, I kind of want to be the Cinnamowins of the Warriors scene. And so I'm just going to say things that delight me about this channel. So this year I'm reading and rereading a whole bunch of critter fiction. I am loving every minute of it, and I have things to say, goddammit, and I am going to say those during this channel. These stories make me so like ridiculously happy. I never would have expected to love them as much at 22 as I did when I first picked up Into the Wild at 9. With this channel, I will get to yell all of that happiness into the world and hopefully make things just a little bit better. Honestly, I'm probably going to actually make like a bunch of trash videos that have nothing that great to say. That is okay. If I'm having fun, then the video's worth making. Reason 3, to create a low-pressure space where I can learn, create, and improve my videos. So I love learning, but not when it's stressful. And this seems stressful. At least the idea of making videos does. And that's what's kept me from doing it for a long time. So I have to figure out a way to make this fun and as low stress as possible. In order to do that, I need to have a channel that is public, just so that like I feel like there's a point to making the videos and not just stopping at writing scripts. But I'm giving it microscopic stakes. My only goals for critter fiction concern my output. Nothing about subscribers or view counts or any of that shit. It's a great bonus if, you know, someone finds this and likes it, but these videos are for me. They're for my future self to look back on, and they are for me to enjoy the process of video making and learn things. So I want to make a few videos a month, learning exactly one new concrete thing each time and implementing it. Make a bad video? Inevitable. No big deal. As long as I am making the shit, that is a success. And with a whole bunch of repetition, I'm bound to improve. Reason 4, to practice so that when I launch bigger and more serious projects, I'll be confident and ready to take it on. I have a ton of other audiovisual projects I want to do. There's one channel in particular I'm already planning and just raring to go. It's called Build a World Brick Shop. It's all about learning from the real world and applying it to world building. Think of it as like the love baby of Artifactian and Tale Foundry. But I'm holding off starting that because I do not know how to make polished videos yet. Obviously. There's also another like really personal reason that I will get into later. Suffice it to say, critter fiction will help with both of these reasons. 5 and 6, to productively fill my time and grow my portfolio. So I'm unable to work at the moment for reasons, and I have a lot of time to fill, especially because quarantine. I also like to write, draw, and world build in that time, but those projects tend to be really wibbly. It's very hard to quantify the progress and improvement that I'm making on those projects, and considering a session done is just kind of all right, I'm abandoning it for the day and I'll come back sometime in the future. That can be really frustrating when I want to see measurable progress on my goals. So YouTube is kind of the perfect thing for that. Every single aspect of this process is highly measurable, and there's a concrete point when it's like, all right, you finished a thing, and that is called a video. And so I'll be able to look at every single thing and say, oh look, I learned this and this and this, and it seems like I got this better in this amount of time, and I uploaded this many videos and got this amount of engagement from it. 7 and 8. To get inspiration for my own stories and talk about my worlds. Maybe even build a fan base. Probably not, but maybe. So I want to talk about what I write just as much as what I read. There's this channel, World Building Notes. It's all about someone who draws pictures of her world building and describes it and puts it over pretty music, and that is her whole channel, and it's great, and we get to explore her world one video at a time, and that is so inspiring. I want to do that. And I think Critter Fiction is the perfect channel for that because I tend to write in that genre. Half the reason I'm reading so much critfic this year is to get inspiration for my own writing and world building projects. You'll definitely hear how I'm like yoinking little bits from all of your favorite series and throwing them into mine. And maybe, if I get really lucky, someone will watch all of my ramblings someday and fall in love with that world. I mean, that's the dream, right? Nothing feels as amazing as connecting with someone who loves your worlds. 9. To advertise my work. So I think it naturally follows that I'm going to want people to read my writing when it's actually out there in story form. So with this channel, I have a very convenient spot to say, hey, there's a new story here. It's in the genre. Go read it. If I do it right, the audience for this channel will be pretty much exactly the same as the people who would like my work. By the way, I'm planning on the vast majority of my stuff to be either free and expensive, or you're able to get it by doing like a set of tasks or something. Unless I get like traditionally published or something, most of my stuff is going to be pay what you want or something like that. My priority is people reading my stuff. Making money is just kind of a bonus. 10. To connect with people over a shared interest. Seems pretty self-explanatory. I'm in the fandom. I want to meet other people in the fandom, see if I can find more than 2 other people in the world who read Foxcraft and appreciate it, that kind of thing. 11. To get recommendations for other critfic. Yes. Please send me book recommendations. They can be critter fiction, they can be anything else. If it seems like I would like it, I am interested in hearing about it. I am reading so many books this year. I am absolutely going to run out of critter fiction, and then what else am I going to do? But there's bound to be something out there that I haven't heard of, and I want to hear about it and then make videos on it. 12. To become a Warriors YouTuber. Warrior 2? Is that a thing? I don't know, it's what I'm calling it. But yeah, I would love to do that. It would be awesome to be like a well-known and loved member of the fan base for my favorite book series of all time. I am 22 and I love Warriors just as much as the first time I picked up Into the Wild when I was 9. To become a Warriors YouTuber would be kind of like a dream come true. At least it's the closest thing to being one of the errands that I could ever hope for. Yes, I did used to want to be one of the Aaron's writing canon books, and yes, I kind of still want to do it, but I know my chances are nil. So, here is my next best shot at least being heard of by one of the Aaron's. Also, there is a tiny little microscopic but compelling chance that I would get to meet the legends. People like Moon Kitty, Tennille Flowers, Falcon Develops, all those great people. That would be fabulous. I love their work and I look up to them so much, little YouTube kitten that I am. 13. To maybe make money. Possibly. Way down the line. I'm not actually expecting to make much at all from this, but who knows, maybe AdSense will be kind to me and I'll make $5 a month. And you know what? $5 is $5. I can put it towards more books to read, right? And finally, 14. This is the really personal one. So here's where I come out. Yep, this has actually been a coming out video the whole time. Woo! I'm a non-binary trans guy. Hi. So this is the thing that I hinted at earlier when I said that I'm not ready to take on certain projects. The fact is that I don't sound like what most people think guy to sound like. And that's because I haven't gone on testosterone yet. It's something I'm working on. I will be on T at some point, and then my voice will change. But I kind of want to record it before that starts happening. And then during the process, I really like those X days on T videos, but I want my equivalent to that to have some other point. And so critter fiction is going to be helping me with that. So when I finally get down to projects like Build a World Brick Shop, I want people to hear my voice and immediately think guy. I am non-binary, but I mean, if you're anything like me, your brain still has that split second of automatically assuming one or the other gender, binary genders. And if I have to pick one, I want people to think of me as guy. So yeah, I have to wait for my voice to change to do that. And in the meantime, I want to record the process. I want to record it as it is now for posterity, and I want to record it changing. The crit fix stuff is all really important for making me excited to do it, but when it comes down to it, the content doesn't actually matter. It's ultimately about recording my voice, and I could hypothetically change every single other thing about the channel, and I would still have my core reason for doing it. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but yeah. So that is what I'm doing. By the way, I am totally prepared to get misgendered all the time in the comments and if I get on other social media and all of that stuff. If you happen to see someone referring to me as she, her, and you want to gently correct them, thank you. That's appreciated. But I'm also just kind of just going to deal with it. It's fine. When you've got a treble clef voice, that comes with the territory. So there's my long ass list for why I'm starting critter fiction. I can guarantee I'm going to have days where I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? And on those days, it's my job to come back and watch this. Remind myself that I have a bunch of little reasons and a few really massive, ginormous ones for making critfic videos. And hopefully that will kick me back into gear. If you listen to that whole spiel, first off, why? But thank you. I appreciate it. Comment something about dragon fruit. So that I know that you got this far, and I will heart the comment. I'll have my first real videos up within the next couple weeks. I'm going to do a quick channel intro, introduce my helper, and then right now I am reading Warriors over again, so I'm just going to start from the beginning and have the next videos after that be my thoughts on the first 6 books. I'm falling in love with the series all over again, unironically. And that's it. Video's finally over. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day full of moments that fill your eyes with stars. Bye!